Hello, and welcome back for another episode of the Terrafirmagreg. Last episode, I don't remember what I did because it was a long time ago. I spent a lot of time redoing my factory, as you saw in the title. So without further ado, let's go for it. As you can clearly see here, things are way different from before. But don't worry, this is probably the last time I'm gonna change the layout, because I think this is pretty okay. Very organized and with good space between stuff. So I don't think I'm gonna change it later. As you can see here, I have this space here by 7 by 5 where I can do setups. Simple setups or double setups like this one here. And as you can clearly see, the electric blast furnaces are not up here anymore, since they're going to need to run almost constantly to do some stuff. There was no reason to keep it on here. Now let's go to the basement to see all the new rigs, shall we? Let's go down here, and the big change is here. I made my process line here. It might look complex, but it is not. On the top I have a macerator that's going to produce the crusher that arrive here, that is feeding into those 5 basic water washers. But because water washers require so much phases to be completely automated, I did not a double setup, just a line one. Items come out from the bottom, items come in from the top, and water comes from the side. And in the back have the power, so all faces are used, except this one here. And here you have a little setup to get me infinite water using a low voltage 8 gearbox. So this produces some stress quantity that power all these 3 mechanical pumps. But this is not at the maximum speed, because for some reason, if I try to use it at maximum speed, at some point it will start to lag behind and break. Well, now that I show you, it's not breaking. But this is more than enough to this. And to be honest, this is not necessary. We have power come from the top here and arriving into this through this medium voltage, because my power now is high voltage. Each one arriving into a different 2 amp voltages and powering the battery buffers with the manganese wire to not lose power. Then the items arrive here, and here you have one conveyor pulling purified ores to be thermocentrifuged, and in the back you have another one taking all the dusts into the outer line of production, because we have thermal and have sifting. And speaking of it, we have here 2 sets of filters. One here to pull all the gems purified from this chest and send them along, and another here the semi-filters denying these gems to arrive into the thermocentrifuge. So this one here will try to place them here, and they are going to continue this way here and arrive into this chest here. This one here is just the output from the thermocentrifuge. Comes the dusties and the refined ore. This one here just send the gem to go into the sifters. In this case here, I already built an high voltage sifter, so I have more gems using it. As the higher the tier, the more chance to get material I have, so I have more material. And in the end, everything ends up into this simple crate here, where it's going to try to output it from the top. Those restrictive pipes are gonna make sure that it go all the way to the end before trying to going up. And here you have a centrifuge for the pure dust from the sifter. We have another one control here, pure dust. This one gonna take the refined ores to break them and maybe gain a second one. Another advanced macerator of high voltage. And here our little friend, stone dust, that can be centrifuged into potassium, feldspar, marble dust, metal mixture, quartzite, sodalite, and biotite. And here having super chest to gain everything here. But as you can clearly see, I stop it from outputting, so I could show you this. I'll just send it all away. Now they are going to walk in. It's going to walk into this huge amount of stone dust. Yeah, this is how much ore I have already processed using the water washer and other materials. This is my process line, okay? I have moved the boilers from there to here and just place a 16 high voltage battery buffer on top. However, it only has 2 high voltage batteries. I discovered that I can actually use the normal batteries here. I still has not confirmed if it is the battery hole that outputted the high voltage or the batteries inside actually matters to make the amperage. I have here all the 3 hose pulleys with the medical pumps to fill with lava, water, and seawater as normal. And on the back is the muffler. I did also not tested it to see if the mechanical arm from Create could grab those here. I tried taking a conveyor belt, a conveyor module, maybe some hopper below it, but nothing seems to actually grab the ashes. Ashes can be very interesting to actually collect it because you can centrifuge it to get quicklime, potash, magnesia, phosphorus, soda ash, and hematite. So it has some uses. I just did not find a way to do it automatically yet. Now I have here my rig here that uses the electrolyzing the water. Let me take this on here. I have 4 basic electrolyzers electrolyzing seawater, because this is going to give me chlorine and hydrogen and some sodium hydroxide. And this I'm gonna electrolyze into a medium voltage to give me oxygen and more hydrogen. And this crap here that I have too much already. Everything is arriving here. This is the small amount, and the big ones come here to be electrolyzed. And I got this much of sodium already. Power comes from the top again. Since this don't run constantly, I'm not hooking it to a medium voltage. Now here I have the same setup with the gas collector and the basic centrifuges to make oxygen and nitrogen, but this time I double it so they can have it more frequent. Everything goes below here, as you can see, and yes, it is full. Continue here, we have the old setup that I show you, where I have a raw diorite been here, then macerated into dust, and the dust sent here to the advanced centrifuge to become the clay and mirabilite. And in the path to be processed, it will go first deposit some of that clay here into this basic autoclave to make clay balls that are going to be smelted into this basic alloy with the ingot mold to make bricks that are filling this entire chest here. So if you want to decorate my entire base with the bricks, I can do that. Continue the path. The dust is going to arrive here, both the clay dust and the diorite dust, to combine with the water to make liquid concrete that is inserted into this assembly, where you're gonna receive the raw diorite to make hardened diorite. But I have a chest full of it. And I placed this here to try to make some of the limestone bricks, and I forgot to remove. And at the last step here, gonna arrive the mirability dust and the clay dust to be electrolyzed and give me. One's going to give me a lot of water and the sodium, lithium, aluminum and silicon, and the other one is going to give me some sodium that I don't need, but it's gonna give me sulfur, also a ton of water and oxygen. And we have here super chests receiving them. 7,000 lithium, 50,000 sodium, 1,000 sulfur, 10,000 silicon, and 10,000 aluminum. And as you can see here, I have a pipe going to this direction here with 2 filters, one for only silicon, other for only aluminum dust, into this double electric blast furnace. One's make aluminum and the other make the monocrystalline silicon bubble. So this is automatic. I can just come here and grab a stack of the wafer here and the aluminum here to make more pipes, cables, chests, drums, whatever. In the future, I'm going to make a second double electric blast furnace here to make steel and other materials that require oxygen. But for now, that's all I have. And here to show that the pipe that is going to insert the fluids into my storage, I actually below the supply line. The pipe comes all the way here, then go up here into the back to fill the super tanks. And the super tanks fill this line here of pipes that's going to feed my machines. Nitrogen and water are already full because nitrogen has its own setup and I believe nothing else produces it. I disable the fluid voiding so this don't work full time or nothing. Water and the rest are going to continue because I still gain from another sources. Continuing the line here, we have this double electric blast furnace with the Cantal coil because one here makes the hot silicon ingots and the other here is used to smelt the other stuff that require these coils and a high voltage, like stainless steel. Now here we have two setups that work together. First we have the Pyrolysis oven that's going to turn all my bioshaft into biomass. That then is inserted into this advanced distillery that's going to turn everything here into ethanol and get a lot of the softwood pulp. I need to think what I'm going to do with it. The ethanol is sent down to arrive here. This is the same setup I showed that time to make ethylene. We have here the advanced chemical reactor that has sulfuric acid in the ethanol to make the ethylene. It's going to output to the top and arrive here into this super tank. As you can see, I have a good amount of ethylene already. Now we have here this basic chemical reactor that's going to use sulfur and hydrogen to produce hydrogen sulfide that is pumped out here into this other chemical reactor that's going to combine with oxygen to make sulfuric acid and then inserted into this super tank. But as you can see, it only has 32 units inside. It's not making any more because I used a fluid regulator to set it to keep always 32 buckets of sulfuric acid, so it don't produce it too much without needed. And into this chemical reactor, it's actually outputting all the diluted sulfuric acid into this distillery that processes it back into the sulfuric and send it back using a double pump here. But as you can see here, this also is also not full of sulfuric acid because I want this to be useful before the main production. That's why I used another fluid regulator here to keep one bucket of sulfuric acid that's required to make the recipe. 1 bucket of sulfuric, 1 bucket of ethanol, make 1 bucket of ethylene. So there is not much of a loss here. And instantly that I get 2/3 of the initial sulfuric acid back from the process. The ethylene arrive here, where again I have a regulator here to keep 1 bucket into this one here, and another one to keep 1 bar into this one here. This is going to combine ethylene with chlorine to make the vinyl chlorine, and the vinyl chlorine is going to combine with oxygen to make a liquid PVC. And the other side here, the ethylene combines with oxygen to make the liquid polyethylene. This also makes hydrochloric sulfuric acid that is normally set up here to the top, but since this is kind of stopped for now, it's empty, but it does work. Now here I have 2 new setups here that I did not show before. One is very silly and the other is actually useful. Here we have a hockey breaker taking a cobble and then break it into gravel. And here the gravel is break down into sand. Since it takes 20 seconds, I made more of those. It's going to arrive here into this advanced macerator. Because when you can macerate sand to get quartz sand, and the quartz sand arrive here into this advanced centrifuge because it's going to give me quartzite, but what I really want is this Cetus quartz. I built it not long ago, that's why I only have this little Cetus quartz and this of quartzite. This actually has almost 0 value to me. But since I don't know any trash can in the game, I don't know what to do. And the other side you have something similar, but this is more useful. Here we have Gabbro cobble, yes, need to be Gabbro, being macerated into Gabbro dust. That's going to be centrifuged. And it's not that cheap, you know. It is 150 EU each one. So this is actually very expensive in power. But since I'm going to show you, I want to keep it a high state. Centrifugate is gonna have a chance to give me tiny piles of titanium, tiny piles of iron, and tiny piles of metal mixture. I'll output here into the below to this chest here, where I have a mechanical robotic army set to supply exactly 9 items to this packer here. That's configured to make it a whole dust. And then output here and getting here. So in a sense I have infinity metal mixture, iron dust, and titanium dust. Yes, titanium dust. I can just throw this into a blast furnace to get the hot titanium ingot, skipping the process of the electrolyzing it. But this don't help much, because to actually be able to cool down the ingot, we are now forced to use the vacuum freezer. So I have to actually get to extreme voltage before I can actually use it. Let it accumulate while we deal with it. And that is all my setups down here that I have to show you. Still there is space to expand here. I probably want to make one to make a rubber, as I'm going to use it a lot, and the other one I do not know. But for now, I am thinking what I'm going to do. If I'm going to keep using the noble rubber, or try to go to the next one that you actually have access to the second type of rubber already. You need to find it. If I can combine water with chlorine, with methane, and a silicon dust, I can make this polydimethyl, this thing here. Water is methanol, but I think this here is actually more easier to get. The problem is get the methane. That requires some materials. But I think it is only actually not that difficult to get. And this I can actually combine 3 of it with 1 sulfur to make a liquid silicon rubber. And this can be used into place of the liquid rubber. And half is the amount I needed. Of course, there is a better one that is the styrene, but this requires some fields and I don't have access yet. And our feed is high voltage, while this one here is medium. So I'm going to try to see what I can do within the future to trade the liquid rubber from the liquid silicon. Now, as shown before, I have here those 2 restricted pipes to send it to make sure that all the process line has been checked for sending the results up there into this pipe here. This pipe here, and here you have the start of my automated system to deal with dusts that require further processing by themselves. So I don't need to actually put my focus or hand or my time on it. What it's going to do is actually pretty simple. I'm going to use 1 filter into the chest to receive the items I want to process into this electrolyzer here. As you can see, we already have 3 of it almost full of dust to be electrolyzed, and then I'm going to use a robot army into this supply exactly to actually send the exact amount of material required to make the recipe. So this is going to guarantee that the electrolyzer don't get full without the way to enter other materials. And the same thing for the second one here. And this one here is actually mostly to process the harder earth here, and other materials of course, but mostly harder earth. And I have here again 2 filters. Want to take all the small piles from the harder earth from the machine and send it to this crate here, and I not want to forbid it from leaving the centrifuge from the back. And just like down there, they set up to 4 items in the packer, make a hole dusty, and everything else. So this can actually work pretty okay. It's also quite fast. We have the future multi-smelter that's going to be made very soon. And here I have dusts that can be smelted into very useful material. They can be electrolyzed, but normally most of them, the result is not something that I need to worry about for now. Like 2 galena for 1 lead and 1 sulfur. It's not that attractive. I prefer to turn it directly into lead that I use more than the stuff. So make this system here, send this to this multi-smelter to become the useful part. Hematite, I don't need it electrolyzed to get the iron and oxygen, or 5 of it. I prefer to gain 5 iron instead. Because if I need the iron dust, I can just later smelt macerate the iron dust to get it. And you must be asking what all these chests are here. Before I started recording, my main link, my first line output come from here and add more chests here. I even have one here to get all the gems on the sifter. As you can see here, I have a lot of gems. And I need to make a setup to actually turn those small gems here into something useful, but require high voltage. Turn it through into a flooded and then into the proper material. And I can go all the way to the exquisite if I want it, but no. Also, it need to be at least at the normal version to be able to macerate it to get the dust. So all this shipped ruby and pyrope is not useful until they reach the middle gen format. These are going to left for the next episode, and just some place to hold my machines here to do some work. And now I am in a stage where I start to do what I can call silly builds, where I made the little rigs to increase some recipes that I need to do constantly, like this one here to make wire. I put the material here and I get 3 wires made every time instead of just 1. This here is to actually put the cable, turn in the wire into cables. That's why there is rubber here. And because I still has not finished everything here, I put the others little material here. Like I have the arc furnace here, the extractor here, the polarized back, the solidifier here as well, the compressor, the cane, the alloy smelter, everything just hanging in there. Now to finish this episode, let's go craft my multi-smelter. 3 steam furnaces. Don't know why he don't use the electrical furnaces, because we are already into the electrical voltage and multi-smelter. A little setup with the invar machine casings, 1 row of coils, and now this is going to smelt a lot of items at once. I have an output here into an input here into the top here, to get the items from the permanent smelty, and one for me to actually put the items I want to smelt, because like I want to make a lot of copper to make more cables and more setups. I put it here, and in 6 seconds it's going to smelt half a stack of it. That's a lot faster than before. And everything is here. Now I can take all this copper and make it into wires. And then I can take some of the wires here and turn them into cables. Very easy. I'm going to finish this episode here. I'm going to start recording this one here. It's probably going to be the most tutorial-like video that I'm going to ever make for the rest of the series. So anyway, I'm going to do the bye-bye down here. It's have a lot of stuff to actually look around here. Maybe like this. So this was On God. Thank you so much for watching.